A season after Carolina suffered some front court struggles, the staff went out and grabbed Henri Veesaar from the transfer portal. Here's to hoping he's the guy to help steady the ship.
This is Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shade, and you're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks so much for making us your first listener watch to get your Wednesday going the right way. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. Want to welcome in especially the everydayers who are with us, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course, our great Locked On Tar Heels insiders. So glad you're all here. If you want to be part of one of those groups, the links are in the show notes. Today, our roster preview series, carries on. Freshmen, Caleb Wilson, Derek Dixon, Zay Denis. We've hit the sophomores, Jonathan Powell, James Brown, Ivan Matlekovic. Last week, we started the juniors with Kyan Evans. And today, we move into the Big Estonian. I've started calling him the man coming over from Arizona. That's the man, Henri Veesaar. We've been saying Henri Veesaar all offseason, but now we got the pronunciation from Jones. Joining me to help unpack the new big man is another Carolina big man, a man who's going to have to say Henry's name quite a bit this season, so he's going to have to get it right as well. Mr. Tyler Zeller, Big Z, is joining us coming back. Tyler, it's great to have you. Excited to talk about another Carolina big man with this Carolina big man.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to talk about him. And it's always fun to try to break down the team and predict what's going to happen, but I think he's a great get for us.
Absolutely he is, and we're going to find out what that looks like. To do so, we're going to talk big picture storylines, scouting report, a floor and a ceiling for Henry, what he needs to work on leading up to the ceiling, some over-unders and bold predictions from Tyler and I. Let me quickly run you through his bio blast and stats from last year at Arizona, and then we'll talk Henry. So Henri Veesaar comes over from Tallinn, Estonia is his hometown. Before Arizona, he was playing in Real Madrid's youth program for 3 seasons. This year, he's a redshirt junior. He missed the 23-24 season with an elbow injury, played for Arizona on that. He's jersey number 13. Trying to think of a recent 13. Cam Johnson. Let's go with that. The man. Love that. Speaking of which, Z, how about Luka Bogavac wearing your 44? I love it. And Jay Jacks, too.
I mean, it's been a great number. We've had a good run of people, and hopefully Luka can carry it on. If he lives up to expectations, he will definitely be better than both of us.
Right? Literally, the last 240. I went and looked. You and Justin were the last 244s. And what is it that you both share in common that you did?
I think ACC Player of the Year, right?
I think ACC Player of the Year. That's absolutely right. Let's run that back. And I think, oh, by the way, you also won national championships. So either or both of those things would be pretty good. Anyway, back to Henri Veesaar. This dude is a legit 7-footer. He's 225. And Big Z and I found this fun tidbit on his bio on the Carolina roster. His mom was a professional table tennis player. Tyler, you got any ping pong in your background?
No, I mean, I've tried tinkering with it, but I am awful. My wife sits back there and she just bounces them back to me and frustrates the heck out of me. That's about as far as I've made it in ping pong.
I mean, you might as well just put up the other side of the table and that's all she's going to do. That's crazy, man. I love it. Henry, you folks, usually if you're listening to our roster previews, you know that we always have fun with the social media handles. Our man Henry, he's not on it, so we just move along to his stats last year at Arizona. 37 games played, just 5 starts, averaged 20.8 minutes a game, 9.4 points, and 5 boards. Almost split down the middle between offensive and defensive, 2.2 on the offensive glass. More of that, please, and thank you. 1.3 assists per game, 1.1 turnovers, 1.1 blocks, just under a steal a game, 59% from the field on 5.9 attempts a game, 66.9%, so 7% from 2 on 4.6 attempts, 32.7 from 3 on 1.3 attempts, and 68.6 from the free throw line on 2.8 attempts per game. Woo, there you go, Big Z. That's a mouthful. And let's just go big picture on this thing to start. Does, in your opinion, the Henri Veesaar addition help put the Carolina front court back where it's supposed to be as one of the premier front courts in the entire nation?
I think it does. I think in a different way, though. With him and Caleb Wilson, they're both downhill rollers. They're at the rim. They can dunk. They're athletic. They finish well. I still don't think we go back to traditional post-up bigs. Caleb can play off the block. He's going to play in that mid-post area, and he's really, really effective there. Henri, I would love to see him do it more. He actually has a good knack, and his field goal percentage is really, really good. But part of that is he's very passive sometimes with the ball. And so he's not ducking in as hard as he can. And I'd love to see him do that more. But the great part is once he gets the ball, he's really effective with his hook shots and finishing around the rim. And so I think we're going to have a huge effect there. And then defensively, having him and Caleb down there, they're long, they're athletic, they block shots, which really the bigger thing that I think a lot of people forget is that allows our guards to get up. And if they get beat, those guys are going to shoot floaters and mid-range. And if they get to the rim, those guys can help. And it just makes your whole defense so much better. And so I really think he moves the needle defensively more than offensively. But offensively, his rebounding and his effectiveness inside, as well as if he can get that three-point number up just a little bit, it opens up everything.
Yeah, just man, the ever so slight on the 3-point, give him some more gravity there. And yeah, I mean, good grief. He's had over a 120 offensive rating both years that he played at Arizona. And so you combine that with the defense. I love what you said there. Like, whether it's actually blocking shots or altering shots or just making somebody think twice about getting into the lane or shooting a lower percentage floater, man, we'll take any of that. And I want to come back when we get to his scouting report to what you were saying about being more aggressive with the ball, Z, because that's something I'd like to see out of him as well. And I love how you put that Carolina, with the combination of he and Caleb Wilson, obviously we think Jarin Stevenson will factor critically into that front court as well. We'll be able to have Carolina's front court operating at a high level again. Although I love how you put that in a different way than two traditional bigs, like, you and Dion, or, you and Hansbrough, or thinking back to championship team with Kennedy Meeks and Isaiah, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so we'll see how those two guys work together. But part of that is it is different. So in your mind, how is having a stretch five and something of a stretch four as well in Caleb, how's that going to change the dynamics of Carolina's offense in totality?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've seen so far, I haven't seen Luka play in person yet, but from watching film and seeing, he likes the mid post also. So Caleb and Luka are going to be playing in that mid post, trying to make plays out of it. Having the 5-man be able to stretch the floor is able, and you can't, like, if I'm guarding Henri, I can't go guard Caleb. Caleb is too fast. He's too athletic. So you can't put them on Caleb and be like, all right, I'm going to take away Caleb's insight. He'll just get around you. Yeah. So having a stretch 5, it takes that 5-man out of the lane. And that's where I'm saying, if he can just get a little bit higher, if he's 35% from 3, that's scary. I mean, obviously above that is just more and more, but
sure, absolutely.
5, I got to respect it. At 32, 33, shooting 1 or 2 a game, I'll let him take both of them. And I hope he misses, but I'm going to take away Caleb in the lane and all that. And so I think that's where, if you can get him to be a stretch 5, make those threes just at a little bit higher percentage, and then shoot a couple more if they're going to leave him open. It just opens up everything for Luka and Caleb inside, as they don't have to deal with the biggest player on the court.
So what would it take for you, Tyler, to go out on that and guard it, right? Like you said, if he's shooting at that level, I'm going to give him both of them and let him take it. I love hearing that defensive mindset and knowing what you're processing from a scouting report. Does he have to do it for you to want to honor it?
So I think for me, and I've guarded him a couple of times over the summer, like, right, I'm going to let him take the first one, and I'm going to take away Trimble, Luka, Caleb. Like, I'm going to be very hard and recover late, and I'm still going to run by and contest, but I really have no chance of blocking it, just enough to make him think. And so that's my mentality. Now, if he's popping and shooting above 35%, I can't give up threes, because threes are so valuable. They're so big. I almost have to wait for my help side to come across and help on the Trimble and Luka and Caleb downhill, rather than staying with the pick and roll a little longer, trying to help a little in the gaps a little harder. So I think if he can do that, like I said, it just continues to open up the floor more and more, the better he shoots.
I'm curious to see how much Coach Davis has him shooting, like what level of volume, because last year I'm looking back at his totals, only took 49 threes, Tyler. So literally had he made two more, he was 16 of 49. Had he hit two more and made 18 of 49, that puts him at 36-7 from three. And so I think the volume is going to be an interesting factor in that 3-point shooting as well. Speaking of, so with that lower volume, one of the things, part of it too, is we know that he wasn't a starter at Arizona. Started 5 games last year in his college career. That's it. That's the only 5 games he started. And so with this reliance on him in the front court that we're expecting, I know there's some concern among the Carolina fan base that with that small sample size of starting, is that a worry of relying on him so heavily, having not seen it yet at that level?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll give you the good and the bad. I'll start with the bad. I think the bad is usually the second team centers are smaller, but he played 25 minutes. So he obviously played against some of the starting centers. So being 225, he gets pushed around a little bit. Part of why his rebounding numbers aren't higher defensively is he gets pushed under and he can't get up as well. His offensive numbers, he can get free and be able to steal some rebounds. The good part is the starting centers are usually bigger. So his ability to stretch the floor, they're not going to want to get out on the floor. They're not going to want to guard him out there. And then his ability, once they respect that, he can roll and get behind him, and he's really good at catching lobs at the rim. And so I think there's a combination there. And as a starting big, I think it'll be an adjustment playing against bigs. But I think overall, switching defenses and things like that, he does a good job rolling to the rim, being big, catch the ball high, finish high, and don't bring it down. And so I think he's going to have a lot of possibilities there, especially with Luka and Trimble coming off the screens. And so I think he's going to get a lot of drop-off passes, easy layups, because they're going to be focused on, I mean, let's be honest. Trimble coming downhill is hard to guard.
Yep.
Luka, again, haven't seen him, but I got to imagine he's coming downhill just slow, passive, but very under control, very hard to get back in front of. And then you got Caleb at the rim, and he's really good in transition. He's really good at creating mismatches. And so he's going to be able to play off those guys, get the offensive rebounds, and really just kind of continue to add. I think if he's a primary post-up defender or post-up player, I'd worry about him. But playing off the ball, I think he's going to be really, really good.
And I've continued to feel this all off season, and the way you just laid that out continues to confirm it, that the roster construction for the 25-26 Tar Heels is infinitely better than what we saw last year. The way the pieces can play off each other and do those things. Tyler, you just laid that out so well. Speaking of seeing Luka in person, just a quick plug, folks. Literally, as Tyler and I record, Coach Rob is at Carolina practice today and seeing Luka in person. And so we're going to be able to get a great report from him on Thursday's show. So make sure to tune in on that. Now, Tyler, speaking of Luka and Henri, and we haven't mentioned Ivan Matlekovic yet. These 3 dudes, all from Europe. Henri from Estonia. Obviously, that's a little bit further up north, but Luka, who is Montenegrin, and Ivan, who's Croatian, those 2 countries very close together. From a locker room standpoint, how helpful is it to have kind of not countrymen, but guys from the same part of the world? Like, is there something to how that can help some locker room cohesion and help those guys, especially Luka, who's in the States for the first time, at least for a long period of time? How helpful is that?
I think it's hugely helpful. I mean, one of the things I've learned is FIBA basketball is so big from a young age over there, and the lifestyle and everything is just different than we Americans think of basketball. I mean, we grow up playing in college and high school, but they grow up and the lifestyle is different, and the languages and the cultures. And I mean, some of them, school is interesting because they spend like 6 hours a day at the gym, and then they fit in school. And so I think just having somebody else who's grown up, been through the same lifestyle, done the same things, just helps that transition. It's somebody who understands and can sympathize with what you've been through and what you've done is huge. Whether they're best friends or not, it just allows, hey, I want to feel a little bit like from home, and having the European connection can help tremendously with that.
That's great insight. I love that, Z. Thank you. Okay, look, we got to get to Henri Veesaar's scouting report. What are his strengths, weaknesses? Where does he stand out? What does he need to continue to work on? That's where we're headed next. We'll talk about it coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about our good friends at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. We're about to talk about what makes Henri Veesaar stand out. Let's talk about Mazda first. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. As of August 20, it's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anybody else. As an athlete focuses on every detail, Mazda does the same. From metallic accents to hand-stitched Napa leather. You can feel it the moment you get behind the wheel. The smooth handling, intuitive controls, and standard all-wheel drive in every crossover SUV. So whether it's a quick drive to practice or a weekend road trip, Mazda makes every day feel special. It's the small details that make the big plays, and just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Let's move now to a scouting report on Henri Veesaar. But as we do so, I want to remind you that we'd love for you to help us here at Locked On. We have a survey that we'd like you to help us with. We want to hear from you, right? To help us understand our listeners, our viewers more, and make your favorite podcast like this one even better. It's your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, there's a QR code. Thanks so much for helping us out. Great stuff. All right, Mr. Tyler Zeller, we're going to get to a scouting report here on Henri Veesaar. The way I like to ask it in terms of his strengths is what's going to allow him to stand out or be a uniquely capable player that helps Carolina succeed?
I think the biggest one for me so far is his ability to affect shots at the rim. You know, his ability to block shots, change shots. He's done a really good job getting his hand on rebounds. Just the length inside, it really shows. And I think that's going to continue to show as he gets more and more comfortable. And then his ability to catch lobs. He's really good. You know, the couple times I've guarded him, I know that, so I stay on his body more. But there's a couple times because I mean, I've been dunked on way too many times. But some of the younger guys, they get off his body, and he's so quick to the rim. I think he's able to, especially with Trimble coming downhill, you want to step up and try to stop him because he's big and strong. And as soon as he does, he throws it to the rim, and Vassar can catch it really, really well. So I think those are the two I really see affecting the game. And then really, I think he's a smart player. You know, I like pick and rolls, and we were doing really well in pick and rolls. And suddenly he started jamming our pick and rolls. So trying to push me out, and he did a good job just trying to adjust, and he knows the game well. His basketball IQ is really good. So I think some of those small things we don't really notice, he'll do just naturally.
And another one I've been curious about, Tyler, I wanted to ask you, especially because knowing that you've played him some already. Obviously, Henri is not some uber freak athlete with an insane wingspan or anything like that. So how is he so effective? Is it like fundamentals, footwork? Like what's allowing him to operate at a higher level despite not being uber athlete?
It's kind of funny because his wingspan is not when you look at it, it's not huge, but when you play him, he's got long arms, big hands. He's really good. I mean, he can catch the ball, but he's got soft touch also. And so usually when you're long and athletic like that, you struggle to be able to have the soft touch, but he's really good inside. I would love him again to be more aggressive offensively, because usually when he makes a move, it's a really good move. It's a strong move. It's a smart move, and it helps the team. And I think trying to get him out of that, you know, where he just only takes great shots and try to take a few just below great, I think would be really good for our team.
That's a really interesting standpoint, and I'm sure the staff is going to try to instill that in him. When is the time to take those shots? So let's transition to that conversation more then, Tyler. Where does Vassar, need to continue to grow? Man, we're getting it. We're transitioning name pronunciation here in real time. Where does he still need to grow? What are some of those weaknesses? Like for your money's worth, right? Like if that was your mindset and the staff needs you to be more aggressive with shot taking because you've got a soft touch or whatever it is, what would you need to hear Tyler Zeller, the basketball player, to get you to that higher level of aggressiveness?
I think for me, it's my teammates mostly. I mean, a coach coming up and saying, hey, you're shooting 60+% from the field, take a couple extra. You know, if you got a good shot, don't throw it out. You get an offensive rebound, try to go back up strong unless the defense totally collapse on you. And I think those are the big things. We just got to continue to progress and get better. I think for me, one of the weaknesses is his strength. He is not the strongest person, but he makes up with it with his length and athleticism. He's not weak either, though. He's not some of the guys in the past that are young, they really get pushed around. He doesn't get pushed around a lot, but he does weigh 225. So 250, 260, 270 is just naturally going to be stronger than him. But again, his length and athleticism, they get into him and he can still get the hand up, block him, alter the shot. And he does a really good job with that. But I think that's part of why his defensive rebounding numbers aren't higher, is just he's not overly big. And when he puts his feet somewhere, he's athletic enough to go get it, but he's struggles a little bit to hold his spot against really, really big guys.
And let's talk about that, the rebounding, because obviously this year he's going to be asked to do it at a much higher clip. Literally, Tyler, in his 2 years of playing at Arizona, has never recorded double-digit rebounds. Obviously, as we said, he's not been starting, so the numbers should go up, and so should the rebounding. But, literally, as we were talking, Coach Rob, I said, is at practice today, sent me a screenshot of today's practice plan. And on it talked about getting to the boards 2, 3, 4, and 5. And only the point guard is hanging back. So between Henri and Caleb and the 3 and 2 crashing in as well, he's going to have to do it. How can he up his rebounding quotient?
I think, offensive rebounding obviously is one. Being able to play inside, get on the rim. He does a really good job of rolling to the rim on pick and rolls, being around the rim, and then having all those guys coming downhill. You should have your big off your body so you can get up. He can tip dunk. He can get it, go back up strong. He does a really good job with that. That's one way to get it up. Defensive rebounding can be tricky. You do your job and block out perfectly, and you can have a Trimble or somebody run in right under you who didn't really do their job, but they got the rebound. And so no, you just got to continue to do your job. But I think sometimes being able to get to the block out, hold your man, and then release from it. And I think, when I was playing, one of the things I had a coach in the NBA, he's like, hey, your rebounding numbers are X, Y, and Z. He's like, we have to get that up so I can argue more for you. I'm like, okay. And so just from that, I was like, all right, I got to release and start getting some of these. And hopefully somebody gets to him and tells him like, hey, Caleb's going to come get those rebounds. He wants them. Trimble showed last year. He's a really good rebounder. And so we just got to make sure that he continues to get off and get those rebounds. But again, I'm not mad if his rebounding numbers are low, if the team defensive rebounding numbers are extremely high.
Good word.
He's doing his job. He's blocking his man out. He's got usually the hardest man to block out. And if he's getting his man off and somebody else is getting the rebound, I'm not mad at that, even if he averages 5 rebounds a game.
Right. That's a good word. It's not that he has to get it. He just can't let his guy be the one to get it. And that is still a win. Tyler, one more kind of scouting report question. I wasn't sure which bucket to put this in, but I knew that you had played against him. And I know that you're someone who I remember in your playing days at Carolina referring you often as a gazelle, man, because you're just streaking up and down the court. And I loved watching it. And so that's my question. How is Henri at changing ends? Where would you put it? Strength or weakness?
I put it right in the middle. He definitely gets up and down. I would not put it as a super strength. Caleb is extremely fast with the ball. Trimble, extremely fast. So he's not going to keep up with them. But the good part is Caleb gets it, Trimble gets it, and then they just go. And so they're catching up, but he's very good with that secondary kind of, if they can get to the rim and not finish and it comes off, he would be right behind him. And so I'm not going to say that he's like leading the pack, but he's also not way, way behind where you got 4 guys down the floor and you're like, come on, we got this. Like, which we've all played with some people like that. And so he's right there, consistent. I think he'll keep up well. Arizona played fast last year. They actually had more possessions per game than we did last year. Not quite as much as we did the year before, but they're playing that pace and he kept up well with them.
That's a good point, man. That Tommy Lloyd offense is something to marvel at each and every year. We actually just did our Arizona preview on Locked On College Basketball, and each year of the Tommy Lloyd era, they've been top 15 in Ken Pom offensive efficiency. Obviously, he's been a part of multiple of those teams. So, Tyler, I love your point there. That's really good stuff, and can't wait to see. Yeah, I mean, if he's not there for the primary action, certainly he's there in time for the secondary action, the tip dunks, the kickouts to the free throw line, whatever it needs to be. So we'll keep our eyes on that.
That's actually my favorite place for him to shoot a 3 is somebody's downhill in transition. He's slightly behind. And if he can't get to the rim, stop right at the top of the key. It's an easy throw out. The easiest 3 to shoot is one coming from the inside. He can catch it. He usually shoots that one really well. The catching from the side off of pick and roll, just the mechanics are a little more complicated and a little harder. And, I think that's one he's got to settle into.
Man, I would like to see a lot of that this year. All right, next, we're going to ask Tyler Hubert Davis hat and let us know 3 things the Big Estonian should be working on in the lead up to the season, which actually, as of today, Wednesday, September 3rd, is 2 months to the day before the season kicks off. Holy smokes. Plus, we're going to talk a floor and a ceiling, bold predictions, and more to wrap the show coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel, y'all, the NFL season is almost here. Kickoff tomorrow, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. One of the great things about FanDuel is that it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. We're talking Henri Veesaar today. How about Wooden Award odds? He's plus 15,000. So if you think he's just going to go bananas this year, why not get in on that? Or Caleb Wilson, who has the best odds of any Tar Heel right now at FanDuel, plus 12,000 to win the Wooden Award. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Again, that's FanDuel.com. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Look, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's a 401k, properties, investments, whatever it is. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop, phone, whatever device. And Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. My wife and I, truly, we spend a lot of time making sure our finances are up to date and in good shape and that we're in communication about it. And I love that Monarch helps make sure we can do that easily and simply. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. Again, that's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. All right, Tyler Zeller, I'm going to ask you to put on your Coach Hubert Davis hat and conduct an off-season meeting with our guy, Henri Veesaar. What would you tell him are 3 specific things you want him to be working on before what we just said, the season kicks off 2 months from today?
I'll start with the first one is one I think all bigs, all people over 6'8" need to work on is playing lower and getting stronger, and put that in one. But you got to continue to lift. You're going to play against big, strong guys, be able to hold your own. And then by playing lower, you just naturally become stronger with the strength you have. And so I think you just got to continue to get better and better at that. Secondly, shooting, his 3-point percentage, again, we talked about it, is 33%. Take that up to 35, 36. And then if you start to shoot 2.5, 3 a game, I mean, that would be great. Unfortunately, sometimes you shoot 2.5, 3, that percentage drops. So you got to be able to find the combination there. And then just work on being more aggressive. Work on some of those. Pickup is a great time where, you work on your post-up moves, or that move that you really like, but it's just not there yet for games. And so just continue to progress on that, get better and better. And I think it can be really effective inside.
Akin to a pitcher working on a new pitch in spring training or something, trying to refine that curveball or that new chain, whatever that may be. I love that. One thing, let me tag on to your 3-point percentage with free throw percentage. Like last year, Henri shooting 68.6% from the free throw line. Would love to get that up over 70, closer to 75. Even, I mean, you've got Luka and Kyan Evans, both who are over 80%. Seth took a massive leap last year. He was over 80%. So if you've got 3 of your 5 starters at over 80% and you can get Henri up to the mid 70s, I mean, it would just be an insane lineup that it's like pick your poison in end of game fouling scenarios, right? So,
and I think it also allows Henri to play late game, because sometimes if you're below 70, coach is like, hey, I can't play you even though I want to, because you're going to end up shooting free throws and we need to be able to make them.
Yeah, maybe at that point it's like Caleb and Jarin Stevenson holding down the front court or something, if he's getting out of the game because of that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Tyler, let's look at expected role, kind of minutes per game expectation. I think you and I are probably in agreement. We think that Henri's going to be the starting 5. The question is, How many minutes a game will he end up playing? Last year, as a reminder, 20.8 at Arizona. Obviously, we expect that number to go up with Henri in a starting role. What do you think is an ideal minutes per game here?
I think that 25 minutes. I mean, obviously, Caleb is going to get a lot of the offense. It's going to be set up for him. He's going to play 25 to 30. I think they're going to rotate. The big question is, who's the backup? Do you rotate Jarin into the 4-5 position and allow Caleb to guard the other? Or does James Brown make that jump? I think early, Kansas maybe not, but most of those early games, I think James Brown will probably play behind Henri, and then James will try to play in the Kansas game. We'll see if he's ready. He has gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's made a good progress. I just don't know if he's got the experience yet. So I think the main rotation will be Caleb Wilson, Henri, and then sliding Jarin to the 4 and 5, which he's played 3 some too. So he's kind of a plug and play guy, meaning he can play anywhere, guard anywhere. He can guard inside, outside. But that is a big lineup if you go Jarin, Caleb, and Henri. I mean, just long and athletic, and we should be able to do a lot of things. And then put Luka in there too. I mean, he's not small himself. So, but anyway, so to answer your question, I think 25-ish minutes. There'll be games where teams go super small and it might be a little less, but I think most games it'll be in that 25 range.
Yeah, that's that jumbo package would be insane with Luka at the 2, Jarin at the 3, which he played at Alabama a lot. We've talked about that a lot this offseason. Really curious to see what James Brown can do, as you talked about. Was listed last year at 215. This year, 240. Tyler, 25 pounds this dude has put on this offseason. Crazy, crazy stuff. All right.
He looks like it. He looks strong. Another one we didn't name is Zay Denis, who he plays well. He's a little bit of a wild card, but when he plays well, he plays well. And so you can see him getting some spot minutes too.
And we'll have his roster preview show coming up here in just a couple weeks. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's talk a range here, a floor and a ceiling for Henri Veesaar. Tyler, I'll give you kind of what I'm thinking, and you tell me if you would push or pull on it and what you would adjust. As a floor, I would call him a serviceable starting 5. Doesn't move the needle as a regular starter in terms of being like a dynamic player. That 3-point percentage hovers around 30%, doesn't rebound at a higher rate, doesn't add any of that aggressiveness you've been talking about. And I feel like that's the floor for him, right? Like outside of injury, obviously, like he's in the starting lineup doing stuff, but not a ton. But as a ceiling, like all ACC caliber big, first or second team, perhaps a real rim presence, that 35% from 3, enough gravity to pull the defenders out and honor that shot. He rebounds at a higher level, and a great front court rotation with Caleb Wilson and Jarin Stevenson. Those feel like the bookends of the range. Tyler, where would you push back or adjust on that?
I think you're spot on. And I think the challenge, so I'll add a little bit to it. The low end of what you're saying, I think there's a lot of things as a basketball, if you watch, he's going to do a lot of things, getting the right block out. So if his rebounds don't go up, but his man never gets a rebound, I would count that as a win on the high end. And so even though his rebounds didn't go up, he's still very much neutralizing, especially if you got a really good offensive rebounding 5, which some teams do. I think the 3-point percentage, he needs to either be able to pull that big out or be able to keep the guy occupied inside. And so if he's catching lobs at the rim and the guy's got to stay connected to his body, and our guards can get to the rim and shoot layups, again, high end. And so, but if he's not doing either, that's definitely low end. And so getting a little more technical, but I think he's going to do a lot of things that people don't notice. People, he only had, 8 points and 4 rebounds. He wasn't very good tonight. But I've watched a couple of his Arizona games. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds one game, and he was awesome because they refused to leave his body because he was going to catch a lob, and all the guys kept getting layups and floaters, and they were doing a great job. And so I think it's going to be interesting because I think he's going to have games where he gets 20 points because they are helping off of him, and I think there's going to be other games he has 8 points because they're worried about his lob and his offensive rebounding ability, and they try to stay connected more to him. So I think there's a high side, even though it may not be points and rebounds per game, that can be met without showing those numbers in the box score.
Yeah, that last word you used is exactly it. The box score lookers are going to look at it and say, I don't know, Henri Veesaar didn't do anything in this game. But I would almost compare it, Tyler, tell me if you think I'm wrong here, but Armando's growth on the defensive end his last year in college, where you saw a lower number sometimes in the box score, but Armando's impact on the game was higher because of the adjustments and the growth that he had. Fair comparison or no?
I agree. Yeah, I think it's completely fair comparison. I think if Henry, so go back to your high side. If Henry can score the ball at a high level, whether it's in pick and roll, at the rim, post ups against smaller guys, I mean, that is the high side of what he can do. He is talented enough to do it. I just don't know how it fits in this offense yet, because you got a couple ball heavy guys in Luka and Trimble, and then Caleb's obviously going to get his touches. So I think it's going to be hard for him to do that, but if he can do it and capitalize, post up, they try to switch onto him, go post up the point guard, little finger roll finish. I think that is a huge asset to our team, and I don't know how they guard us at that point.
Exactly. So, I am curious, like on the other side of that, I'm curious to see as things unfold, how his switch ability is. If he's asked, if the team decides to switch everything or just switch 1 through 4, and how that defense lines up. Obviously, we probably won't know that until we really get into things. All right, Zeller.
I'll add to that.
Go ahead.
I talked to him the one time and I was like, how do you like to play pick and rolls? He's like, I want to show. I was
really?
Like, really? I was like, okay. And I was like, what do you mean by show? And he's like, yeah, he literally means get out, attack the ball, and then get back. And I'm like, that's great. And our defense is not set up in that way for the 5 to do it. They're a little more back, but being able to be up on the floor and retreat to the rim is huge. It changes the look of the floor. It's more just looks
instead of that drop coverage. Yeah.
The drop coverage where you stand in the lane, that guard loves it. They got full speed. It's so much harder. So I think he will be good in that.
Well, let me follow that for a second, because you're right. As soon as you said that, I was like, but that's not how Carolina bigs typically in the Hubert Davis era are covering pick and roll defense. So would the staff take cues from a player who feels comfortable doing that? Or is it like, no, you need to adjust to the system?
Both. So they're not going to go full show, which means they're not going to go attack the ball, but they have allowed him to get up, what we call up to touch. So he's touching his guy that's screening, rather than all the way back at the block, and then he retreats as the ball comes at him, which makes it harder on both sides. But he's long enough and athletic enough. He's done really well with it, and I'm hopeful that can get implemented, because it does slow down the ball a lot.
Okay, man, let's watch for that. Love that insight, Tyler. Thank you. Okay, 2 more things to do. Bold predictions, 1 from each of us, and I'm going to give you an over-under and let you make a call on it. Do you want to do your bold prediction first or me?
You can go ahead.
All right, my bold prediction for Henri Veesaar is that he has a true breakout season. And I love it, because I had to define a breakout as somebody who has not scored double digits before, and he fits that category. So a true breakout season in a starting role where he averages, this is where it gets bold. Bold predictions are supposed to be wrong, folks. Just remember that. He averages a double-double, 14 and 10. Yes, I'm saying that about somebody who has never had a double-digit rebound game in his career, as part of a vastly improved Carolina front court. And in that bold prediction scenario, he is a second team all ACC player.
So, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I had 6 double doubles before, I think it was my freshman, sophomore year. And then all of a sudden I had a stretch of them, all this. And just, so if he can find the rhythm, it's very doable. My bold prediction, he's going to shoot 37% from 3 on 2.5 attempts and just change the game completely. I think if he can be able to hit those numbers, again, it's bold. Not sure we can get there, but if he does that, the whole team changes everything. Caleb's going to have his way inside. Luka and Trimble are able to get downhill. And I really just don't know how people guard our team in general.
Dude, yeah, I love it. Bold prediction is supposed to be bold, Tyler. I love it. Lean into it. But yeah, I mean, seriously, because he averaged 1.3 3-point attempts last year. So that's like a little more than an extra attempt a game, and just making a couple more of them than he did last year at Arizona. And as you said, that completely changes what this team could be offensively. Nut stuff. So the over-under, going to continue to lean into the rebounding here. And look, obviously, as you said, it doesn't always have to be about him getting them. But in a Carolina scheme, he's going to have to get more than he did at Arizona. That's just the fact of the matter. So Vassar, dang it, who again has never recorded double-digit rebounds, but he's going to have a bigger role in it. So Tyler Zeller, over under double-digit rebounding games for Henri this season.
Sorry, you froze. What was the number?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Over under 10 double-digit rebounding games.
I'm going to go over
31 regular season plus however many postseason.
I'm going to go over.
Okay.
My hope is in some of the smaller games, he can get those double-digit rebounds. He's going to have more size and athleticism than those guys. My worry is he's just passive enough that he allows the other guys to come steal the rebounds, because they're also bigger and stronger and faster than the other guys. So, but if he can get a couple of those, I think, and then he'll have a couple in big games, just I think he's going to meet the moment and show up and have some big games. And we need him to play well. I mean, he's going to play. I think there will be games he plays 30 minutes. I think he's going to have time to be able to get those rebounds. And but again, he's got to go get them. I think offensively, he's going to get them no matter what. Defensively, he's got to just get the ones that he can get, just hasn't got yet.
Because you're right. Caleb Wilson ain't sitting there waiting on somebody else. Like, here you go, buddy. Good luck if you'd like to be the one that grabs this loose. But no, Caleb Wilson is getting everything he can get his hands on.
And he wants to get out in transition. So if he gets a rebound, he is gone.
Gosh. Yeah, that's the thing is probably 4 of these 5, my predicted starters anyway, are rip and run guys who can get the rebound and lead the break. And my goodness, that could be a lot of fun to watch. Tyler Zeller, brother, thank you for all your great insights today, your wisdom. Very excited to have you on the call again this season. Can't wait to talk. Hopefully, we got 2 months. We'll probably chat again on the show before we really kick it in. Maybe after that BYU game, that would be really interesting to chat after that and see how the Tar Heels match up to AJ DeBanza and company out there. And if you still have any oxygen left after being up there at 8 miles high or whatever it is. Guys, if you have not already subscribed to the show on video and audio, make sure you do that right now so you don't miss a single second. If you've not watched those previous roster preview shows, I'm pointing to the corner because I'm going to link the playlist in the show notes link the playlist there on YouTube where we've got all of those. If you haven't joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, we would love to have you in there. It's a great community of Tar Heels hanging out, chatting all the time. And if you want to go deeper with this show, have one-on-one conversations with me, have free access to all of my charts, my stats, my record books. You know what a nerd I am with my Excel sheets. You get all of that for free being a Locked On Tar Heels insider. We'd love to see you there. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.